Australians are great travellers, but we must remember to fly the flag for our own country. Welcome to WA, Australia's last great wilderness frontier. You're actually looking at the most endangered species here, humans. The Kimberley is home to only 40,000 people, meaning there are less people per kilometre than nearly anywhere else on the planet. It's a place of hidden gems, not just the world's biggest quality diamond mine and Broom's perfect South Sea pearls, but also the legendary laconic locals, national treasures all. I'm more of a buried treasure myself, but let's hit the road and see what other gems and rough diamonds we unearth en route. Bookended by uninhabited coastline and rugged desert terrain, the Kimberley is proof of Mother Nature's magnanimity. This week, as we continue our scenic tour through Australia's weathered and wondrous backyard, we'll discover the ancient landscapes of the Bungle Bungles, El Questro, Kununurra and Lake Argyle, concluding our epic journey in the pearl of the desert, Broome. The Kimberley is a treasure trove of natural wonders, and we begin 100 kilometres south of the town of Kununurra at one of the country's most inspired wilderness resorts, El Questro.
Symbol of the Kimberley, the beautiful baobab tree.
Yeah.
Now, they say they can grow to 2,000 years of age. They lose all their leaves through the dry season. They just look absolutely spectacular.
I love them. They look like big pregnant women going, where are those men?
You can see the nuts or the fruit that hang down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll find them on the ground. Very, very high in vitamin C, so do you want to try a bit?
I've never had bush
Come
tucker.
on, let's bust it
time.
open.
Indigenous culture runs through the land like a seam of gold.
Have a go at some of that. Careful you don't break your teeth on the seeds. The baobab means many seeds, but very high in vitamin C. Bit like biting into polystyrene foam esky.
If that's the esky, where is my cold one inside it? Because I need it to wash down the taste. That's disgusting.
Basically, the bush is one big pharmacy with potions and lotions and primitive penicillin found in everything from the baobabs to the wildflower blossoms.
What bush cordon bleu have you got for me now?
Well, I've got some lovely Rosella bush. So every Aussie should know about the good old Rosella jam. And I don't mean the brand name Rosella. This is Rosella bush. Very tart, so we just pick a few of these little petals off. There you go, nice chew.
And you make this into a jam?
Yeah, you've got to put a lot of sugar in with it, but so it's probably quite tart. Beautiful, huh?
I would have to be in a real jam to eat that.
Ah, very good.
Although used to surviving in the urban jungle, where the only thing I hunt down are bargains, with 1 million acres to explore, El Questro offers the most secluded and sensational adventure.
Here we are, beautiful Zebedee Spring.
This is nature's own private plunge pool.
It's lovely. It's really warm.
Oh, well, this water's coming all the way from New Guinea under the Timor Sea up through a natural fault line, coming out at a beautiful 30 to 32 degrees. Just lay back, let it take the years. Guaranteed 10 years younger when you get out, Kathy. That's how good it is.
It's like an aquatic TARDIS.
Oh, look, you just
Turning
can't
back
beat
time.
it.
The blazing blue skies and red earth looks almost Dali-esque, and to discover a tropical oasis mid-desert certainly adds to the surreal feel. But then the Kimberley is full of surprises.
Is this where Nicole Kidman
This
swam
is where
when she was
Nicole
making
came,
Australia?
yeah, and Nicole believed that these were called the fertility springs, okay, because she fell pregnant to Keith Urban not long after being in here. So, yep,
And
these are...
apparently 6 other women on the shoot got pregnant as well.
Right,
And they all
well,
had daughters.
There's
so
definitely something in the water out here at Zebedee Springs.
Emma Gorge Resort is another oasis in the desert, and cynics pick of the 4 diverse lodgings offered here at El Questro. And even if the bush is not your natural habitat, and like me, you prefer conquering the great indoors in bars and boutiques, you'll feel at one with nature in these safari-style tented cabins. The resort's namesake is El Questro's most famous gorge, where guests can take an impromptu shower in a 200-foot waterfall. But the true highlight of any stay here is delivered at day's end. They say that the sunsets in the west are the best, and this is like being at the theatre.
Pigeonhole Lookout is probably one of the most spectacular lookouts on El Questro. Thousands of people come here every year just to see these stunning Kimberley sunsets. Another great day in the Kimberley.
Thanks to you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Covering an area 3 times the size of England, but with hardly a soul in sight, the Kimberley scenery will awaken your senses like a mental espresso. contrasting the wizened, weathered, ancient landscape is the modern town of Kununurra, settled in 1961. Our scenic adventure whisks us to this relative newcomer, which is within easy reach of one of the world's most extraordinary geographical gems. A 4 to 5 hour drive south, or a 20-minute flight, and the 350-million-year-old Bungle Bungle Range looms up out of the landscape like an Aztec temple.
I feel as though we're flying over a whole other planet.
Yeah, it's very, definitely very unique.
Rising over 300 metres above the plains of the Purnululu National Park, the curiously captivating beehive-like giant domes are one of the world's most fascinating rock formations, besides the Rolling Stones, that is.
To see this area up here, it's usually only from the air. There's no actual tracks to come up here. People might come and fly around in a helicopter or in a plane like this.
That makes them even more special, that there's absolutely no people down there. It's just pristine.
The Indigenous people have long known of this natural phenomenon, but this rare mountain range only came onto the tourist radar in the 1980s.
It's only sort of over the last 30 or so years that people have started to come down and see the bungles for what they really are. Quite an impressive and unique formation.
It's just the strata in the rock is so even. That's why it looks as though it's been painted by artists. Stunning, absolutely stunning.
Believe me, you'll soon run out of superlatives. Kununurra is Aboriginal for many waters, which proved prophetic as it's now Australia's largest water park. The town's main water source, Lake Argyle, is created by the Ord River Dam, the largest man-made lake in the country. So everything up here is big. Big skies, big personalities, big crocodiles, big lake. How big is Lake Argyle?
100%, we're looking at 21 times the Sydney Harbour in there. If you want to go maximum size, estimation, 84 Sydney Harbours.
And it's so hot. I mean, I think the chooks must be laying hard-boiled eggs, but you can't get in because there's crocs, right?
Correct. If you have your chook pen on the side, then you're struggling to get it. But they don't quite lay them hard-boiled, but if you crack them on top of a rock, they'll be cooked in about 30 seconds.
With our Captain Dylan and the team at Triple J Cruises, we're headed 55 kilometres from the dam wall back into the town of Kununurra. And while our croc friends stay well camouflaged, these waters are abundant with wildlife. It seems like it's a bird sanctuary here.
It is. It's beautiful for birds. When you've got this much pristine, constant fresh water in an area as arid as the Kimberley is, it's a really big attraction for a lot of bird life. So we've got in excess of 150 species of birds just on this one section of water right here.
It's this raw beauty and relative isolation which lures people to the area to become what locals proudly refer to as the Kimberley clan.
I was once told when I first started travelling, prior to my 6 years here, that if you put your feet in the waters of the Ord, that you'll always come back. And it's actually, it's true. True is true.
People do seem to get addicted to the lifestyle and the landscape.
There's no place like it.
This rugged terrain was also the backdrop for the much-loved epic movie Australia, with our very own homegrown Hugh and Nick. And I know everybody's looking for exotic creatures, crocodiles and things, but I've been looking for Hugh Jackman everywhere.
No, his remnants are still around. He's left his mark for sure, but
you should have your shirt off and give us a little Hugh Jackman moment. What do you think, girls? Yay!
And just when you think the West can't possibly deliver any more highlights, or Stephen Fry will have to airlift in some more emergency adjectives, another glorious sunset is upon us. Considered one of the planet's greatest natural and cultural treasures, the geographical grandeur of the Kimberley seduces even the most hardened of city slickers. For me, that lure could have a little something to do with the fact that it also produces some of the planet's most rare pearls and diamonds, which I'm hoping really are the girl's best friend. Renowned as a bit of a rough diamond myself, it's only natural that I'm drawn here to the Argyle diamond mine, hoping for a bit of a polish. It's one of the largest producers of diamonds in the world and is equally as rich in culture and history.
So this is welcoming. What we do is we believe the spirit of the ancestors and the creators, they're on the inside the land, they're in the ground. And scent from your body goes in and they welcome you.
The mine is most celebrated for its rare pink diamonds formed deep beneath the earth many millions of moons ago, and now adorning divas in their palaces and at A-list parties and premieres.
And this is volcanic, this area?
Yeah. They estimate this volcano here to be over 6 million years old.
6 million years
6
old?
million. So discovery of diamonds down Smoke Creek back in 1980. Geologist Maureen Muggeridge discovered diamonds there, but my ancestors walking here over all of these diamonds, we didn't know what they were. We had no use for it anyway.
Exactly.
And
It's
our
ironic,
culture is,
isn't it?
we're hunters and gatherers. We're not miners.
As a writer, I'm always mining for new material, so I feel right at home here, as does the temporary town's many and varied residents.
And that's what I sort of appreciate being a traditional owner group, is to see that everybody's working together here. So
Yeah.
it works for me.
In harmony.
And in harmony, exactly, you know.
From diamonds to pearls, our epic Aussie adventure with Scenic has its final stop in the frontier town of Broome, with a history as colourful and loud as its landscape.
It's a real cultural minestrone too, isn't it? It seems to have every single culture represented here. It's like fusion.
It is, and it's because of the old pearling days, obviously. So a lot of the Asian workers got indentured over here to work here in Broome. Many of the Chinese actually came from Victoria, from the goldfields of Victoria, and came over here to work in there.
Because it was like an aquatic gold rush, wasn't it, when they found the pearl? I've always wanted to be a bikie chick, but hey!
Here we are.
Roger, no wheelies. Okay, that's the rule.
My gal pal is Kira Fong, a former model and long-time Broomie, with many exotic tales to tell.
And on the right, we're actually coming up to the Sun Pictures. And the Sun Pictures is the world's oldest operating outdoor picture theatre.
Australia's oldest outbreak.
Yeah, no, the world's
The
oldest.
world, really?
picture theatre.
Opened in 1916, Sun Cinema's movies still screen here every day, but Kira's rags to riches tale is even more cinematic in scope.
I love to think of you, though. Here you are, you modelling in Paris and London and Barcelona, and you came from this little tiny town of Broome.
Yeah, actually my family's property is just up here on your right. And when we were kids, we used to sit at the top story. It's a 2-story building. And we used to watch the movies out the window.
I just can't curb my enthusiasm for our trike, and it's the best way to explore the world's premier pearling port.
So, what beautiful place have you brought me now?
This is actually Ganthian Point. It's Yarra Land, so this is part of Minya Park, which is all this area through here.
But Broome hasn't always had bragging rights. Some thought of it as an exile to social Siberia.
I just think Broome's got the most fascinating history. You know, right from early on when it was named after Governor Broome. He thought it was such a backwater. He said, oh, please don't name that horrible place after me. You know, find me somewhere better. But now I think you'd be incredibly proud to have its booming town named after you.
Of course, it's important in the tropics to keep hydrated. Doctor's orders.
So, where have you brought me?
Okay, this is Matzo's, and Matzo's has this fabulous history. This building's been moved around town a little bit, but it did start off as a bank here in old Chinatown.
Oh, really? And now, obviously, it's a brewery.
It's much more than that now, yes.
With everything from mango to ginger beer and a few sensory surprises in between, Matzo's is Broome's #1 watering hole. And in a town with a pub on nearly every corner, that's quite an impressive claim to fame.
Last one is the
chili beer?
The chili beer. Are my tonsils going to ricochet up around my cranium?
Hopefully.
Holy moly, that'll put a curl on your toes. Woohoo!
We're in the colourful frontier town of Broome, the final stop on our epic Aussie adventure with Scenic. Broome owes its existence to the discovery of pearls. The industry peaked in the first decade of the 20th century, and to this day, the world is Broome's oyster, literally.
So initially it was the shell of the pearl.
It
the mother
was,
pearl.
yeah. So it's more of the mother pearl shell for your buttons and your knife and fork handles, your watch faces, all of that kind of stuff. Pearl was your added bonus, basically.
We're at Willie Creek Farm, Broome's pinnacle of culture. Cultured pearls, that is. And I'm hoping that just maybe one finds its way into my manicured clutches.
How do you make a cultured pearl?
So essentially it's IVF on an oyster. We get a seed, we pop it into the oyster, and then 2 years later out pops a pearl.
Hang on, what are you doing? That looks like a harpoon. You're not
So
going to
what we're
harpoon a
actually-
crocodile, are you?
So what we're actually doing is pulling up a panel.
Yeah.
So this is what houses our oysters.
It's like oyster Alcatraz.
To a degree. Alrighty, so this is our nice little oyster here. So he's pretty good looking.
Remarkably, the pearl is the only gemstone made from a living animal.
Beautiful. So I'm just going to cut through that muscle there.
Open sesame.
Alrighty.
Well, what have we got?
This is inside our little oyster.
Can you see the pearl?
Peel this top piece off. This is gonad. This is where we'd actually be placing all those little bits and pieces to produce that pearl.
Everyone's crossing their legs when they're hearing this little chat. Yeah, go on.
So the pearl should be located around about this area here.
So now you're going to do a little gonad fondling.
Yeah,
See
so
if
we're going
there's
to have a
pearl.
little bit of a look. Fingers crossed, it is all potluck anyway. So we'll have a bit of a look inside. We can definitely feel something in there. So if you just pop your finger on the top of that, you just feel it there.
I've never stroked an oyster's gonad before. That's a first.
First for everything.
Oh,
A
wow.
nice little pearl.
Oh, isn't that extraordinary that that's just come out of the sea?
So the colouring's all genetics. It's basically like saying you've got a blonde and a brunette.
Right.
It is all just potluck. The white ones tend to be a bit more popular though.
Each pearl is perfectly imperfect, making them as diverse and individual as the residents of Broome themselves. And what are your expressions for the locals? What do you call people?
Broomies, if you've been here a fair while, yeah, that's what you get. That's the tag.
How long would I have to be here before I was considered a broomie and not a blow-in?
Oh, probably about 10 years, I reckon.
10 years?
Yeah.
And probably have a
So-
few digits nibbled by a crocodile, and then I'd probably be,
No, you probably, yeah,
I'd be accepted.
straight away.
And one must have a wander through the gallery at Willow Creek, if only to dream. So how many of these would you sell?
Unfortunately, not too many. There's not actually that many people ready to spend $100,000 on a strand.
I mean, that's the down payment for a house.
Oh, of course.
Basically, I'm wearing a house around my neck.
Well, really, when you think about it, it's 2 years per pearl.
So, Megan, do you think I'm a little bit overdressed for the outback?
No such thing as overdressed.
Thank you. I totally agree. I think I could do a couple more strands.
I'm sure we can arrange something.
Could you just get me a few more?
Sure.
As you'd expect from a town like Broome, the quick getaway options here are rather unique. This hovercraft tour is all part of the scenic experience. A modern submarine-looking machine whizzes us along the sand and sea to Broome's most ancient attraction, a collection of dinosaur footprints, 130 million years old.
So, what we're going to look at here is the trail of potentially a female Brachiosaurus and the calf weaving underneath. So it's a trail of 9 footprints. They start right here. We go from 1 to 2, over to 3, back over to 4. Now 4 we call, this is our perfect example footprint.
The other fascinating thing is that how old are these footprints?
120 million years.
And they're young compared to how old the geology is.
Oh, exactly right.
You know?
Yeah, they're one of the oldest bits of the planet.
I'm feeling much younger, girls. What do you think? Fascinating to envisage dinosaurs roaming in this exact location. These days, the residents are a little more approachable, even if quite shy and hard to bring out of their shell.
We get lots of sea turtles out here that we'll see during the tours. They'll get sat on the spring, on the low tides eating the seagrass, but we don't often see them as large as this one.
I've swum with them in the sea, but I've never
Beautiful,
been
huh?
this close on land. Finally, a friendly local animal that doesn't want to eat me. This turtle's so placid, I suspect it's been smoking the seagrass rather than eating it.